Hello everyone, thank you for joining. Today, I'm going to show how we move from a simple Copilot interaction to a fully orchestrated, enterprise-grade decision, powered by Microsoft Foundry and 3IQs. Foundry orchestrates agents to evaluate requests in real time and delivers policy-aligned outcomes directly through Microsoft 365 Copilot. We'll use a claim scenario to illustrate the art of the possible across enterprise decision-making workflows. Let's walk through how that actually works. This is the foundation for an agent-powered organization. Basically, this slide is the blueprint. Copilot is the front door, the middle is how agents get built across roles, the right is how they connect to enterprise systems, and the bottom is governance. Now I'll show that in action with a claim scenario, one claim, orchestrated by multiple specialized agents to produce a trusted decision. We started with a very real business problem, claims management system. Claims today are slow, inconsistent, and increasingly exposed to fraud. Claims processing today is manual and fragmented, with decisions spread across disconnected systems. This results in delayed fraud detection, higher costs, and poor customer experience. Let's reimagine the process with Microsoft Foundry, the 3IQs and AI agents. Imagine you're at a restaurant with friends. You place your phone on the table, and when you leave, it's gone. Or maybe the phone slips out of your hand, the screen shatters, or water damage at home, or a dishwasher floods the kitchen overnight. These things happen in real life, and when they do, customers don't want complexity. They want help, fast. Now imagine filing a claim doesn't mean waiting days, filling forms, or calling a support center. The claims workflow was built in Microsoft Foundry and published to Copilot and Teams, so the user sees one chat experience while the workflow orchestrates everything behind the scenes. Customers start the claim by entering. My phone is stolen yesterday in San Jose in a restaurant. It's an iPhone 15 Pro Max. I filed a police report, SJPD 55219. I have proof of purchase. Order number 2210784 from Apple Store. The customer uploads a photo of the phone and the proof of purchase. Once the customer uploads the photo and proof of purchase, the system immediately starts understanding the evidence, not just storing it. The vision model reads the receipt and extracts key fields like the device model, purchase location, order number, and purchase date. It then validates those details against what the customer claimed, checking for consistency between the text, the image, and the structured claim intake. In this case, the receipt confirms the iPhone model, the Apple purchase location, and the order number, all of which match the user input. At the same time, the agent looks for mismatches or anomalies, for example, altered receipts, invalid formats, or discrepancies in dates or amounts. From the user's perspective, this feels like a simple conversation. Because this evidence passes validation, it strengthens the overall confidence of the claim, without requiring any human review. This single message triggers an agentic workflow, a coordinated system of multiple AI agents, each with a specialized role. This is not a single model making a guess. This is many intelligent agents working together, using tools, data, and knowledge, all governed and observable. Now that you've seen the experience from the end user's perspective, let's take a step back and talk about what actually happened behind the scenes. Because while the customer only experienced a single conversation, that interaction triggered an entire agent-driven decisioning process. Instead of filling out forms, calling a support center, imagine a customer simply opening Teams or a website chatbot and saying, "My phone was stolen." From that first interaction, WorkIQ understands who the user is and how work should be assigned inside the organization. Fabric IQ understands enterprise data relationships, like claim history, evidence, and prior claims. Foundry IQ grounds every decision in trusted policy internal knowledge, eligibility, and policy playbooks. Behind the scenes, Foundry coordinates agents to capture the claim details, understand the customer's history, validate coverage, assess fraud risk, and reach a final decision. So, based on this, first-time claims may be approved. Missing information needs follow-up. High-risk claims are escalated. And the process doesn't stop there. Using WorkIQ, the decision is automatically routed to the right team. Approved fulfillment ops. Need more info claim support. Escalated fraud investigation. So the claim moves seamlessly from conversation decision, assigned action. In seconds, turning what used to be a manual claims process into an explainable, operational workflow. This is where Microsoft Foundry and the 3IQs come together. The first layer of intelligence that activates is WorkIQ. WorkIQ establishes who the claimant is using Microsoft 365 profile and graph, resolving identity, context, and entitlements instantly. This ensures every decision that follows is personalized, trusted, and secure from the very beginning. Next, Foundry IQ takes over. Foundry IQ brings governed, explainable knowledge reasoning into every decision. Asterisk once identity is confirmed, agent converts the submission into structured JSON and validates key attributes and verifies the uploaded files, extract evidence details and identify discrepancies in parallel, Foundry IQ reasons over policy documents and claims playbooks to determine eligibility and required documentation, grounding every outcome in approved knowledge. This isn't keyword search, it's enterprise-grade, explainable reasoning orchestrated end-to-end. Now that we've seen how Foundry orchestrates agents to make a decision, let's take a look at how enterprise data becomes part of that reasoning process, using Fabric IQ. At the foundation is OneLake, our unified enterprise data layer, where structured claim data such as customer profiles, claim history, policy details, and supporting evidence are stored as lakehouse tables. On top of this data, we define entities such as customer, claim, policy, and evidence. These entities act as semantic representations of business concepts, not just database records. Each entity is directly bound to a corresponding OneLake table, ensuring that agents interact not just with raw data, but with governed, meaningful business objects. Next, we establish relationships between these entities. For example, a customer can have multiple claims. A claim is linked to specific policy coverage. A claim may reference associated evidence. These relationships form our ontology layer, giving agents a connected understanding of enterprise data instead of isolated records. So when agents evaluate a request, they aren't searching flat tables. They understand prior theft claims, evidence completeness, behavioral patterns, and policy relevance, all grounded in the organization's trusted data model. This is how Fabric IQ transforms enterprise data into reasoning-ready context for AI-driven decisions. Once the ontology model is defined, with entities like customer, claim, policy, and evidence and their relationships, we then create a data agent on top of this ontology model. This data agent is directly connected to the ontology layer, which means it can now query enterprise data in a way that reflects business meaning, not just database structure. Then convert in a fraud risk agent. This agent produces a clear risk score, along with the drivers behind that score, so the decision is fully explainable. This isn't a black box, it's transparent, auditable risk assessment powered by enterprise data. At this point, all three intelligence layers have done their work. Work IQ has confirmed identity and context. Foundry IQ has reasoned over policy, eligibility, and compliance. Fabric IQ has analyzed historical data and fraud patterns at scale. With identity, knowledge, and data intelligence combined, the system is now ready to act, not guess. Now comes the most important step, the group chat moderator agent. This agent doesn't analyze, it decides. It arbitrates between all expert agents, resolves conflicting signals, enforces decision rules, and produces exactly one final action: approve, request more information, or escalate. Only this agent is allowed to finalize the outcome. Pause. This is what makes the system enterprise-grade. Decisions are consistent, explainable, and governed. Claim status is updated, fraud flags are recorded where appropriate, and downstream automation is triggered, with full traceability and auditability. You just experienced how agents and 3 IQs work together in Foundry. This claim was processed through a Foundry workflow that orchestrates intake, policy checks, claims history, risk assessment, and decisioning. Using Foundry IQ for knowledge grounding, Fabric IQ for enterprise data reasoning, and Work IQ for user and organizational context. Once validated, we publish this workflow to Teams or Microsoft 365 Copilot, allowing users to trigger it directly in chat and receive a policy-aligned claim decision with supporting rationale. What you're seeing here is the same Foundry workflow now published into Microsoft 365 Copilot, allowing claims analysts to trigger it directly within the flow of work. Behind the scenes, this workflow is grounded by Foundry IQ for knowledge context, Fabric IQ for enterprise policy and claims data, and Work IQ for organizational and user role context. Licensing-wise, users need an eligible Microsoft 365 license for Copilot chat access. Costs are mainly consumption. Microsoft Foundry workflow runs on Azure resources, Fabric IQ runs on Fabric capacity, and any Copilot Studio extensions may consume Copilot Studio entitlements/credits. Foundry orchestrates these intelligence layers through agents, allowing the system to reason across identity, policy, and enterprise data together. So instead of answering isolated questions, the system produces a policy-grounded, explainable decision in real time. We just saw how all 3 IQs were integrated in Foundry workflow. Let's do the recap. What happened in Fabric IQ? OneLake serves as the unified enterprise data layer where structured claim data is stored in lakehouse tables. Claim data includes customer profiles, claim history, policy details, and supporting evidence. Business entities such as customer, claim, and evidence are created on top of this data. Each entity represents a governed business concept, not just a database record. Entities are directly bound to corresponding OneLake tables. This ensures agents interact with meaningful business objects instead of raw data. Data agent is created with ontology model. Ontology agent is connected as a tool for Fabric IQ outcomes in Microsoft Foundry workflow. Now, let's look into observability and tracing. Beyond execution, Microsoft AI Foundry also provides built-in workflow tracing and observability, allowing us to monitor how each agent contributes to the final decision. In addition to orchestration, Azure AI Foundry integrates with application insights to provide end-to-end visibility into how these multi-agent workflows are executing. Every time this claims workflow runs, we can trace which agents were invoked, what enterprise data was retrieved, how policy and claim history influenced the decision, and what reasoning led to the final outcome. We also gain visibility into successful workflow executions, failed or incomplete agent runs. This allows operations teams to audit claim decisions, monitor workflow performance, detect errors or anomalies, and continuously improve agent behavior over time. So instead of acting as a black box, the multi-agent workflow provides a transparent view into how policy-grounded decisions are being made, ensuring both operational visibility and regulatory compliance. At a high level, this transforms how claims are processed, moving from a manual, fragmented workflow to an intelligent, end-to-end decisioning system. This enables real-time evidence validation, consistent policy enforcement, fraud detection before payout, and fully explainable decisions, all powered by Work IQ, Fabric IQ, and Foundry IQ. Ultimately, it helps organizations process claims faster, reduce manual effort, and make trusted, policy-aligned decisions with full operational visibility. From a simple customer interaction to a trusted operational outcome, this is the shift from automating tasks to orchestrating decisions at enterprise scale. Thank you, and we look forward to helping turn more customer conversations into intelligent, real-world outcomes.